this a little bit because I know sometimes it looks really close up, depending on how you're viewing this when we look in the replay. All right, there we go. We're gonna wait a little bit. We're gonna wait a little bit to see who's gonna hop on here. All right, happy Gemini season, everyone. Oh, what a wonderful season it is. It is, of course, not officially the start of summer until we move into Cancer season. But Gemini season always kind of feels like summertime, right? We've got that beautiful sunlight. We've got the warmth coming in. We've got that festive kind of an energy. Memorial Day coming up for those in the United States. Which tends to be, like all holidays, we kind of forget what they actually mean, but we know it as a time to get together and, you know, throw something good on, yummy on the grill and enjoy the sunshine, enjoy each other's company. So there's just a very festive kind of an energy as we move into Gemini season here. Hello, Whiskey Mike. Hello, Amber. Howdy. Oh, I love it. Yes. Texas. Love all my beautiful Texans. Yeah, let's just drink in that lightness for a minute. Things do feel like they lighten up a little bit oftentimes when we're moving into Gemini season. And I'm really appreciating that energy right now. And there's just a lightness when we all get together on here as well. So I'm appreciating that. We are, of course, going to, and I'm going to try to, at some point, get some timestamps together for the people who are catching this on the replay. But while we're waiting for a couple more people to hop on, I'm just going to we're just going to touch base, see how everyone's doing. And so you will be able to, of course, skip this part when you're watching the replay, if you so choose. So how are you guys? How are you doing, Whiskey Mike? How are you, Amber? It's always so beautiful and refreshing when I get a chance to hop on here and connect with everyone. It's been some up and downs for me over the past week or so. I've been integrating a lot since I got back from my training. I've had some beautiful experiences. I've also had some, you know, some more density, some more heaviness that's coming up to be released. I did share with people that one of the miraculous things that happened as a result of my aura session was that I am no longer a smoker. However, what I have noticed in the past week is that those emotions still come up. There's still a lot that needs to be processed, even though that burning desire to smoke has been lifted. It's like those feelings, like when you take away a crutch that you don't even realize, like, you know, it's a crutch, but you don't fully realize how much it is until you don't have it anymore. And then things are coming up, emotions are coming up, and they're feeling a lot more intense. So things have been feeling a lot more raw in some different moments. And there's just a lot of density. I feel like there will be a point in the future where I'm able to move out of that energy, but I do feel like there are multiple reasons why I've been in such a dense energy and location for the amount of time that I have. And I think some of it has to do with assisting and transmuting those energies. I think there's a lot of reasons for it, but yeah, it's like when you're in such a beautiful light energy, like we were in during the retreat, and then you come back into the density and to the everyday kind of grind of the I want to say the 3D existence. I swivel back and forth, as a lot of us do at this point, I think, between the different expressions of energies. So sometimes I feel like I am very much navigating in the very dense energies still. And sometimes I feel like I'm navigating in those much lighter energies. One of the ways that we kind of like to talk about this is to call it like the 3D and the 5D, right? And it makes sense, as we are those bridges that connect, right? So many of us, we are able to, and we're moving into being able to vibrate in that 5D frequency more, but we're also bridges to the 3D, helping other people to kind of move out of that energy and move through into this energy. And like I said, transmuting a lot of that density. So, yeah, it's an experience. It is all an experience. Hello, Heather. Yeah, tell you more. So I will be telling you guys a lot more as I get ready to to offer the aura. There are, of course, other practitioners that offer it already. I am going to be offering it in the, I'm not really sure, probably the late summertime. So it is a quantum healing soul regression hypnosis technique, as well as an entity removal technique. So we're working on multiple fronts to achieve healing at a quantum level. And it's all happening through our higher selves. Through this meditation, through this hypnosis, we're connecting with our higher selves and our higher selves. It's really a self-healing modality. So it's really, really beautiful and really profound. And there was a lot that we cleared, a lot that we moved through and addressed during my session. I've actually had two at this point. I had one with a dear friend of mine, and then I had another one. And that one really helped, I think, pave the way and begin to open things up so that I could really deeply surrender into the second one. And one of the things that I asked for was to remove the urge to smoke. And I wasn't actually fully even expecting that anything was necessarily going to come of it. And it was a really, really beautiful kind of surprise, honestly, I'll say, when I woke up the next day and realized I didn't even feel like I needed my nicotine patch. Like it was, yeah, it's something. So I'm running with it. I've had opportunities, spirit or my higher self, whatever you want to call it, has removed the urge to smoke or the withdrawals from smoking for me before. And I still kind of fell back into it. So this time I'm really determined to stay on that course. And I've also decided to stop eating meat because there's a lot of density and there's a lot of actually really, I'm developing the ability to see through things more than I could before, like to see more of the truth underneath things. And so I've seen some pretty horrific, honestly, things regarding the way that we procure, I guess you could say, the way that we treat the animals and what's really underneath what we're doing to these animals when we are essentially slaughtering them. It's I'll just tell you guys, and I'll let you know what I saw when I looked into that energy was that it's essentially a black magic. It's dark sorcery. It's a dark ritual when they keep these animals contained in these tiny little spaces, right? Essentially torturing them, and then they slaughter them. And so we're consuming that when we consume these animals. At least the meat that's available at the grocery store, like this is what's happening. And so I really don't want to be taking in and partaking in that any longer. But I've realized that has to be a little bit of a journey, and it's the all or nothing mentality. It's like I'm still eating seafood. There are still some times when I do have a little bit of meat. I'm working my way out of that. But it's dropping everything at once, I decided wasn't really the best way to go about that. And I'm sharing that with you guys because we share our journeys on here, and we're all just in this journey together, so I want to share my experience as I'm working through these energies, because it could be beneficial and helpful to somebody else who may be struggling with these same things. I don't ever pretend that I'm like this completely enlightened, human being, spiritual being in this human body who doesn't struggle with any of this 3D stuff, because I work through a lot of it too. So that's where I'm at with that, is like slowly working out of that. And if I do consume meat at this point, I set those intentions to release any dark contracts, to release any dark sorcery, black magic, any of that stuff from my food. I send healing to any sentient beings that were harmed in the process of procuring the food that I'm about to eat. I send a wave of love to the animals. I send a wave of love to the plants, to the planet. And that for me has been very helpful, but ultimately the best thing is to just not indulge in it whatsoever. And I know that people have different dietary needs and different things like that. So I'm just speaking from my own, what I've now been able to glimpse and to see, and just the way that it can oftentimes hold us in a denser frequency. And that's something that I struggled against for a really long time, because I really do enjoy that. You know what I mean? It's not so much now that I understand on a deeper level what's going on with it. But, I do enjoy a nice, steak and cheese or pulled pork sandwich. So that's something that it's all this process of beginning to give up these things, right? And to shift into these higher frequencies. Making music, connecting dots with old acquaintances, reconnecting and looking forward. I love it, Whiskey Mike. That's all beautiful stuff. And Gemini season is a great time for that, as far as like reconnecting and stuff like that, socializing, getting out there, communicating. And we're going to get into that more in a second. Yeah, local is the best. There are, of course, there is a totally different energy to that frequency. That is a much higher frequency if you are consuming meat and things like that for local happy animals who live happy lives, right? Yeah, and I always kind of knew that because even with like I live in a place that's very famous for its seafood, right? And so there are certain things that we eat that sometimes people procure live, and I could never actually eat them if I saw them alive first. I had to pretend like they weren't living, right? And that worked for me for a long time, but it's very slowly here not beginning to work for me anymore. So it's funny, you go and you do things and you don't expect, like I didn't expect that to change about me anytime soon. You know, so I've had some surprises, and as I've come back from my training of things that are shifting, things within me, and just things that I just changes that I'm making now that I did not expect or anticipate to be making. But that's how it goes, right? As we continue to grow. Hello, Misty. Welcome. Yeah. Yes, honestly, in an ideal world, we would all eat the things that we would be able to grow in our garden, right? And we are moving back to an energy, to a time of that, I do believe. All right, so let's talk about Gemini season. I'm going to take a look here so I can remember 11/22. That's when we'll be time stamping for the beginning of Gemini season. And yeah, taking a moment. All right, let's get into this. So Gemini is the sign of the twins. It is mutable air. Gemini is a sign of duality, right? When people talk about the energy of the twins, they very oftentimes talk about two opposing energies present in one person. And so there is that beautiful energy of duality. There is that energy of course, the masculine and the feminine, really working with and balancing these energies. And this is going to be actually a really powerful part of this particular Gemini season. Hello, Real Housewives of the Universe. That's great. Oh, Gemini North Node. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, so where this theme of balancing the masculine and the feminine is really going to be, it's going to be a big energy that we're working with throughout this Gemini season. And I'm going to look through my notes here and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about why. So we have some interesting stuff going on with Mars and Venus during this Gemini season. And so let me look here. Oh, please tell me, is this not my updated notes that I sent myself? No, it is. Okay. I usually, as you guys who've been with me for a while know, I usually use my notes on my phone while I'm doing my live stream, but my internet is not working well enough for me to go live with you guys on my computer anymore. So I'm having to use my phone. So it's like, I got to like email myself first, my notes from my phone. So that way I can look into it. It's a whole thing. But I think I did send myself the updated version. Okay. So on the day that the sun entered Gemini, which was the 21st, 21st to the 21st, May 21st to June 21st, these are the dates for Gemini season. The sun entered Gemini, trine Pluto in Aquarius, and sextile Mars in Leo. And Mars entered Leo on May 20th. So just the day before Gemini season, Mars entered Leo. We're going to have Venus entering Leo on the 5th of June. And so the day that Mars entered Leo, he was opposing Pluto. All right. And the day that Venus enters Leo, she'll be opposing Pluto too, right? Because we have Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius right now, holding steady, holding strong. In retrograde, so Pluto is moving its way back to 29, and I think it hits 28, maybe even 27 degrees of Capricorn during this retrograde. If you guys want the dates on that, the exact dates on that and the energies for the Pluto retrograde, check out the Pluto retrograde video. We went very into detail about all of this, as well as the Pluto in Aquarius video. But we're going to have each of these planets, our personal planets, right? Our feminine, the planet that represents our feminine energy and the planet that represents our masculine energy, moving through this opposition to Pluto. So really receiving this activation from Pluto retrograde in Aquarius currently still. as they then begin their transits through the sign of Leo. Venus is also going to be going retrograde, not during Gemini season, during Cancer season, Venus will be retrograde. I have the Venus retrograde dates here. Let's see. Let me get the dates. I know I wrote down when Venus goes retrograde at some point here. Yes, Venus stations retrograde on July 22nd. So right at the beginning of Cancer season at 28 degrees of Leo. And so on July 1st, which is the start of the Syrian gateway, right? Venus and Mars will pass between 333. That's the number, 333. And I always suck at calling out, and it is, what is that? 3 minutes and 33 seconds of each other. So 333, that energy of the threes, right? And what is the three energy? The three energy is the energy of creation, right? It's the energy when the masculine, the feminine, two energies create the third energy. All right. So it's a beautiful, beautiful synchronistic number here. Hello, Venom. Welcome. Yeah, a lot of expansion here. A lot of really activating each other. So Pluto is activating each of our masculine and feminine energies. All right. Initiating them, if you will. And then they are activating each other as they mingle and pass by. They don't come into exact conjunction, but they're within 3 minutes, 33 seconds of each other. All right. And then continuing on. So when this happens, Mars will be at 21 degrees of Leo and Venus will be at 23 degrees of Leo. And then on July 22nd, Venus will station retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo. During the 8-8 Lionsgate portal, Venus will return to between 23 and 21 degrees of Leo. So where she kissed Mars in the sky, she'll be returning during the 8-8 portal, during the Lionsgate. And then once again, she will go back, return back to these degrees during her shadow period between September 27th and October 1st. So there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of action here we want to be looking at and be aware of these points, right? 21 to 23 degrees of Leo. So there's a beautiful opportunity here for integration, for merging and unification of our masculine and feminine energies. Hello, Galactic Elf. Welcome. It is great to see you here as always. All right, and we talked about, I got into it on the Pleiadian portal video. We are still within the Pleiadian portal. Hello, Angelique. Oh, welcome. Welcome, my beautiful sister. We got into the energies of the bifurcation in the Pleiadian portal video. I think I literally just said, we're within the Pleiadian portal still. That's going on until 23rd, 24th. What day is it today? Does anybody know? This may be the last day of it now. I'm not very good. As I always say, I'm not very good with linear time, so I'm not sure what the actual date is today. I know it's a Thursday where I am. Hello, Sly. But, what were we talking about? Pleiadian portal. Oh, the bifurcation. I talked about that in the Pleiadian portal video. So check that out if you want. But it's essentially this understanding that during that 5-5 portal, during the eclipse season, and the 5-5 portal, the Earth dropped a whole lot of density. We talked about that in the 5-5 portal video. And as a result of the Earth's level up, we're all leveling up again. And the separation between the 3D and the 5D, between the organic and the inorganic, is becoming even more pronounced. And we are going to see the results of that. We're going to see a lot of arguing. We're going to see people kind of splitting apart from each other. We're going to really notice an intensification of whose energies we resonate with and whose energies we don't resonate with. We're going to see where people in general and absolutely light workers are beginning to pit against each other sometimes. And we're going to see it's really easy to get tricked into falling into a lower timeline if we're not really careful and really vigilant and really heart-centered in every single moment. So really allowing ourselves to be guided with our hearts and to choose that beautiful organic crystalline 5D path in every single moment. So we're seeing, I talked about in the Pleiadian portal video, the significance with Pluto there and how we can see evidence of the bifurcation when we're looking at even just on the first day of Gemini season, right? When we had a trine to Pluto in Aquarius, the sun trining Pluto in Aquarius and sextiling Mars in Leo, who squared Jupiter the day after, which was, I think, yesterday. There was a lot of empowering energy there, but also a lot of competitive energy. A likelihood or a possibility of getting pulled into judgment or drama. And these are the lower vibrational energies that are going to pull us into those lower timelines. If we allow ourselves to get pulled into judgment, to drama. And remember, not just judgment of others, judgment of self as well. We want to really notice if that's coming up and just bring love into that as well. Love for the self, love for each other, respecting and honoring one another. All right. And we talked about as well, and I linked in that, and I'm not going to link it again, but go check out the Pleiadian portal live stream that we did if you want more details on the bifurcation. Rising Phoenix Aurora talks very extensively about that. She has a video about that I linked in the Pleiadian portal on her channel, Rising Phoenix Aurora. And yeah, she goes into the energies of how we are repeating a cycle that's been on replay since the fall of Atlantis. And during the fall of Atlantis, a lot of light workers were kind of duped or tricked or seduced into falling into the inverted path, the darker, the lower vibrational path and timeline. And we're seeing that energy playing out again. So we want to be really vigilant, and we want to make sure that we are operating from love, respect, tolerance, compassion, really solid boundaries. All right, really operating from our whole heart space. So that's all we're going to talk about as far as that goes right now. But we can see, like we said, the evidence as Pluto. And I didn't write down everything that's going on with Pluto, but Pluto is very active on the 11th of June. Again, as Mercury enters Gemini, Mercury is trining Pluto. And remember, this is all happening because Pluto's at 0 degrees right now. So every time a planet moves into a new sign, they're going to be aspecting Pluto in some way, because Pluto is also at that 0 degree point. So Pluto is really activating all these planets. And we talked about this energy. And this is where you want to go back and look at the Pluto and Aquarius video if you haven't watched it, of Pluto giving our first clearing and purification of these Aquarian energies. And I talked about this information that was transmitted to me, that was downloaded to me back in 2020, about Pluto's role in the astrological ages, and how Pluto moves through each astrological sign a number of times as we move through that astrological age. And each time is like a deeper clearing and purification of the energies of it. And so Pisces, the age of Pisces will officially be concluding once Pluto moves into Pisces and does one final sweep through Pisces to clear out those energies one last time. But at the same time, we're overlapping with the beginning of the age of Aquarius. And right now, Pluto is going through the first clearing of those energies. So it's really bringing up, it's activating all of these energies within us. It's clearing through that first layer of shadow material when it comes to groups, organizations, causes, working together, networking, connecting, humanitarianism, when it comes to calling out truths and injustices, right? All of these are Aquarian energies. And so we're seeing the first moving through and cleansing and clearing of those energies, like we said. So it's this Pluto and Aquarius transit is going to be very intense, being the first one, because we got a lot of energies to move through. We got a lot to clear out. I think it feels like it becomes a bit easier with each cycle, because we're getting to a deeper layer. But it's like that first layer, there's a lot of gunk there that we got to clean out and clear out. All right. Yeah, because Amber, right? The light workers are the way showers, right? We are the ones who hold the greatest amount of light. We hold that light for the collective, right? We heal, and that healing ripples out to the collective. We show them a better way. We offer them guidance. All right, so we are, and every person is a light worker, right? It's just whether they've awakened to that factor, not whether they're consciously using and directing their light. All right, and when we learn to do that, we are very powerful. And so, yes, of course, we are going to be more targeted. We are going to need to operate in a higher level of vigilance. Absolutely. All right, let's see what else here do we want to talk about. We've been kind of jumping around here as far as the dates and the different things go. So we had, and Jupiter is, of course, in beautiful Taurus right now and has been since the 16th. Talked about Pluto, the activations of Pluto. We have the full moon in Sagittarius on the 3rd, 6-3. So I love that because 6 is a multiple of 3, right? So we got that, the 3 energy, 3-3-3 energy kind of there as well, right? This is a beautiful, 6-3 is a beautiful date. Something powerful that I learned about the number 6 is that it represents ascension. If we look at this as being the cyclic cycles of reincarnation, and this point as being like the energy as we ascend out, right? So round and round and then out. And this is why the number 6 has been so infringed upon, and there's been so much misinformation about what the angel number 666 represents, right? It actually represents ascension. It does not represent what we have been told and programmed to believe. So 6-3, 3 being the number of the Trinity, right, is a very powerful date. And I meant to look up the degrees of the full moon in Sag. Unfortunately now, like, because I'm doing the live stream on my phone, I can't really pull up my astrology chart to see. But I bet we have a really interesting degree for that full moon in Sag. Actually, I am going to, yeah, if somebody can do that for me, somebody who can pull up an astrological chart for me and find out June 3rd, what degree of Sag is that full moon at. If it's in any of the 20s, then it's going to be conjunct or within range of the great attractor or the galactic center, right? The galactic center being 27 degrees of Sagittarius, the great attractor being 21 degrees of Sagittarius, I believe. So if we're within that gateway, it feels like we would be. That would be really powerful if we were. I'm interested to know the degree, but that's going to be a powerful energy. And I'm really feeling that. I haven't looked into this. I haven't gotten any astrology on the full moon. But it feels like it's going to be a big opening for us to really step into a higher frequency and release a lot of those old 13 degrees. Ooh, 13 degrees. Oh, Misty. And Misty also works with different systems as far as the degrees in astrology go. But what I'm feeling right off the bat with this 13 degrees is the number 13 is a highly spiritual number. All right. Some of the teachings that I'm encountering right now speak of this universe as having 13 dimensions, 12 dimensions, with the 13th, of course, being the overall energy of the creator, right? The totality of all the dimensions plus source creating that 13th dimension. 13 is a powerful number. We have 12, 13 chakras, right? Major chakras. We have 12, 13 strands of DNA that we're activating, right? The 13 is a really powerful number. So this full moon in Sag on June 3rd is huge. Absolutely huge. In terms of our ascension, in terms of our leveling up. Hello, Pippi. Welcome, beautiful. I can't wait to do the video on that. That's going to be big stuff, you guys. Ooh, that feels big, right? Yeah. Really connecting us to all that we are, giving us an opportunity to really level up our energy. And I'm feeling it as, because Sagittarius can also represent religion, our philosophies, our sense of justice and integrity. It is ruled by Jupiter, right? Our faith, our beliefs. So a real opportunity to shed old belief systems that are no longer working and resonating, a real opportunity to transcend religious programming and dogma and programming of all kinds, and really step into a brand new level of awareness and awakening of our spirit. Yeah, that's big, big stuff, you guys. All right, so that's on June 3rd. And of course, we have the 6/6 portal just a few days after that. So that is really like the opening energy of the 6/6 portal. Oh, I wanted to share with you guys really briefly too, something that really resonated profoundly with me. I was watching, I think it was one of Rising Phoenix Aurora's videos on the bifurcation or something similar to that. And we've talked about this a little bit, right? How we are essentially in like a Vesica Pisces right now. This energy, right? Third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension. Inorganic, organic, however you want to look at it. Oh, that looks funny with my eyes in the middle of that. Right? We're in this energy right now. And as ascension continues to occur, this energy in the middle gets bigger and bigger, because this is the bridge, right? The fourth dimension. This is the intersection of the two worlds right now after they split, right? And the earth, this energy began splitting off. This is the intersection. That point grows bigger and bigger until it engulfs everything. And that births us actually into the sixth dimension. So feel into that. Feel how that resonates for you. I think what made me think of it was the 6/6 energy, right? Ooh, and we're talking about 6 as ascension, right? So wouldn't it make sense to actually birth out into the sixth dimension? Earth was originally a fifth dimensional planet before the fall, before we then descended into the third dimension. So we're moving back into our organic blueprint of fifth, but then birthing out, actually ascending higher into the sixth. That really resonates with me, so I wanted to share that with you guys. Yeah, so that 6/6 portal is going to be huge. Opening up with that full moon in Sag, and then moving us through those powerful pivotal ascension energies. Yeah. And then what else do we have going on during the 6/6 gateway? We have Mercury conjunct Uranus and Taurus on the 4th, all right? So still within conjunction during the full moon and during the 6/6 portal. This is a huge energy whenever Uranus and Mercury come together, because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So it's a real leveling up of our consciousness. It's a real opening, right, to these higher dimensional thought forms and understandings, downloads coming in, really an upgrade to our lower mind, really bringing us into a deeper union with our higher minds, with our higher self. So that's a big energy. And really grounding that in, right, in the sign of Taurus, which is the sign that, in the way that I look at astrology, is ruled by the earth, right? So Taurus energy is all about the earth. So really anchoring, grounding in that high vibrational energy, and really getting a deeper understanding with this in the sign of Taurus about what we value, what has meaning to us. Working with nature and the ways that we can preserve nature in this planet. Yeah, 13 also, the galactic calendar has 13 moons, right? 13 months. In your system, Uranus rules step 13 too. So that would be the 13th degree. Yeah, I love all the different systems. I think and so this is the thing, right? There's no right or wrong when it comes to, we have 13 people on right now. That's awesome. There's no right or wrong when it comes to the ways that we perceive astrology. All right. There are multiple perspectives and viewpoints from which to understand these energies, and none of them are any more valid than another. All right. It's just a different lens that we're looking through. And so, I think it's beautiful that there's so many different systems and so many different ways that people interpret these energies. So I always love hearing as well, like what the system that you work with, Misty, because it gives us a deeper and richer understanding when we can pull through these different energies, right? Like in the other degree system that I work with, sometimes 13 would be an Aryan degree. But I'm just feeling the auspiciousness of the number 13 when it comes to creation, the dimensions, the moons, all of that. That's what I'm feeling, the divine feminine, right? All right, let's see. What else do we want to talk about? Oh yeah, and then on the 5th, Venus enters Leo in opposition to Pluto. All right, so that's all going on. Leading up to the 6-6, the pinnacle, if you will, of the 6-6 gateway. 6-3, full moon in Sag. 6-4, Mercury conjunct Uranus and Taurus. 6-5, Venus enters Leo, opposing Pluto. 6-6, it's just the energies building and building and building upon each other. And then what else do we talked about Mercury trine Pluto entering Gemini on the 11th. And then we also have Saturn going retrograde in Pisces on the 17th of June during the new moon in Gemini. And this is going to be a powerful new moon. And this is, I believe it's 26 degrees of Gemini that we're having this new moon. Which in one of the systems that I follow would be a Taurian degree, 26. But I don't know. I don't know what else I was going to say about that. 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8. 26, which breaks down to an 8. But what I want to talk about with this, that new moon is going to be really interesting. And of course, we're gonna get more into these energies as we get closer to them, right? But that new moon is squaring Neptune. All right, Neptune in Pisces. So we want to be careful during that. Like Gemini, when we're in Gemini season, Gemini is the sign ruled by Mercury, right? Likes to communicate, likes to bounce ideas, likes to gain likes to collect facts and information. Very chatty, very social, very active, very spontaneous, very a little bit ADD maybe, but a beautiful energy, right? But when we have this new moon squaring Uranus, Neptune and Pisces, we want to be careful because the facts may be skewed. We may misperceive situations. It's very like a Mercury retrograde kind of a vibe or energy where we want to make sure that we're speaking exactly what we mean, that there's no room for mistranslation there. The best thing to do with this energy is really to just explore, especially with that Piscean energy, that Neptunian energy, explore concepts and ideas, more of a Sagittarian energy, right? Just like, okay, let's talk philosophically about some stuff. Let's bounce some ideas, some more fluid ideas off of each other. Let's not take anything as fact. Let's not be overly rigid in our ways of viewing or understanding things. Let's just be very open and very fluid, right? Really embracing that mutable energy of both Pisces and Gemini. Okay. Don't jump to any conclusions. That was another thing that I put in here. Really use it exploring those more mystical concepts. Let's see. Going back to and we'll get more into that as we get closer to the new moon. Oh, I'm late to the degrees party. I'm sorry, Venom. I hate it when people get like that. That energy happens to me all the time when I watch my own premieres and stuff. I'm like 5 minutes behind everybody else. I don't know how that happens either, but it's definitely, it can be a little irritating. Saturn retrograde in Pisces, June 17th. During the new moon in Gemini. Saturn will remain retrograde until November 4th when it stations to turn direct at 0 degrees of Pisces. And I don't know, is this an election year? There were times where I felt called to vote just because I could see what other people weren't seeing. Some people saw, and we got a little flack for it, a lot of flack for it. I'm not getting into all of that, but I could see the energies of the two different timelines, depending on the election and what happened with it. And so there have been elections recently where I have felt called to vote. But for the most part, I don't pay attention because it's the whole system, right? It's a joke, really. So I'm not sure if we have an election year coming up or not. Next year is an election year. Okay. So November 4th, which I guess is not there. There'll still be some elections there. It won't be like the presidential or anything, but it's interesting that Saturn stations direct on the 4th of November at 0 degrees of Pisces. So Saturn is going from 7 degrees of Pisces to 0 degrees of Pisces during this retrograde, really going back over almost the entire first decan of Pisces here. And check out the Saturn and Pisces video. We did a really big video on the Saturn and Pisces energies. This is a huge energy that we're moving through, really powerfully activating, bringing the spiritual into our everyday lives, really incorporating that into the physical in a really big way. There's a lot going on with the Saturn and Pisces energy. All right. So this is like a rehashing of how we've grown so far through Saturn being in these beginning degrees of Pisces. And when I say the first decan, I mean the first 9-10 degrees is considered the first decan of a sign. They're broken up into 3 decans. First decan, the middle decan, and the final decan. And it's like an evolution of energy. So we're going back over this beginning evolution of these Piscean, Saturn and Pisces energies to kind of reevaluate here and integrate. And we'll talk about that more when we do a video on the Saturn retrograde in Pisces, as I'm sure we will. But it's interesting to see that during the new moon in Gemini, this is where we begin. Really interesting too, a lot of Piscean energy during that new moon, not just with the square to Neptune, but also with this Saturn going retrograde in Pisces. A lot to unpack there, and we'll get into that more when we do that. I want to pull a few cards for you guys before I have to hop off here. Oh, I also wanted to check. I know there were a couple other little things. So I'm going to scroll through and see. Oh, yes, on June 11th. What else was happening on June 11th? There was something happening. On June 11th, which is the day that Mercury trines Pluto and enters Gemini, we also have Pluto re-entering Capricorn during its retrograde. So this is, as we talked about, and like I said, check out the Pluto retrograde video and the Pluto and Aquarius video. This is the last time that Pluto will be retrograding back into Capricorn to complete those energies before moving firmly into Aquarius. So this is a big year as far as that goes. Big year for Plutonic energies. And then we also have Mercury. Oh, we just talked about that. Venus is squaring Jupiter on the 11th as well. So a lot of action going on. Oh, and then squaring, oh no, that's Mercury. Never mind. We're not going to talk about every single little aspect here, you guys, but we're going to go over anything else big. I saw a couple things that were worth mentioning. A lot of squares going on this month, though. A lot of squares between different planets. A lot of tension, right? Opportunities for leveling up. That's what we look at squares as. Ceres enters Libra on June 21st as the sun enters Cancer. That was the other thing that I wanted to tell you guys about. Ceres, of course, being this beautiful, beneficial, feminine, healing planet. Bringing in that importance of relationships and really emphasizing the sun entering Cancer, right? Cancer also being, Ceres is a very mother-like energy, just as Cancer is. All right. And so having Ceres enter Libra on the same day that the sun enters Cancer, there's going to be a really big emphasis for us on the nurturing qualities, on our relationships, on the ways that we balance nurturing of ourselves and nurturing others. So that's going to be a big focus I'm feeling as we move. It always is during Cancer season, but there's different things that we work through with Cancer season, different things that are highlighted. That feels like the highlight for this year. But we'll get into that more as we get closer to that date. Saturn at 0 Pisces. Yep. Oh, yeah, Saturn return. She will be having her Saturn return. Absolutely. Yep. Well, she has, and now she's going to really feel it with that retrograde. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a brand new evolutionary journey that she's beginning with those energies. That's powerful. Let's see. Your natal moon at 13 Gemini, exactly opposing your moon. Any idea what that could mean? You let me know when it happens. You let me know. I mean, it's going to be powerfully transformative for you. I can tell you that, which I think you already know, right? Yeah. Yeah, so that's going to be, your natal moon is at 13 Gemini. The moon will be at, the moon in Sag, so the sun will be conjunct your moon. Yeah, it's going to be powerful. That, like, I'm feeling you integrating an aspect of yourself, Venom. Like a soul retrieval, kind of an energy, a fractal, like a higher fractal of your consciousness integrating is what they're showing me. All right, we're going to pull some Intuit Tarot to get some energy for clear Gemini season. Anything Spirit wants to tell us about Gemini season? Oh, interesting. Yeah, I just remembered. Clear. I think I'm glad I grabbed this deck because I do believe that I will be bringing the Intuit Tarot deck from the giveaway to its rightful owner today. I might have forgot that if I didn't grab this deck. Clear. All right. Let's get some energy for Gemini season. What's going on here? What does Spirit want us to know? Especially if you can be in a really sacred location that really speaks to your spirit, Venom, during that, I feel like that will be even more powerful for you. Whatever the first sacred, when I said sacred location that speaks to your spirit, whatever you first thought about when I said that. In the moonlight. All right. Tell us about Gemini season. What wanted to come out? 10 of coins. Ooh, actually, I am going to take that. There's some 3D stuff coming out for this. And 3D stuff isn't always bad, right? It can also represent like our material world. Like sometimes we use that word interchangeably to talk about that. Buying a house stuck out to me. Somebody, you may be purchasing a home during Gemini season. You may be inheriting, coming into an inheritance. Somebody may be taking over the family business. I don't know, some really interesting energies with all of that. Tell me anything else here. Adding to the family. I feel some people adding to their families. May find out you're pregnant. Or maybe having a baby, but I'm definitely feeling finding out you're pregnant for some. Some people, you're getting a pet, right? Like there's a bunch of dogs on this card. You may, if you've been thinking about getting a pet, you may be adding to your family in that way. We have the Lovers union coming out and the 10 of Swords, the final chapter. And remember, Gemini is the twins. It is also an energy that has a representative of twin flame energy to it. And we talked about in the Pleiadian portal video, this energy of twin flames being born and also some coming into union. What I'm feeling right now for some people is your divine counterpart. And this feels like in the physical. Is at the end of a cycle here. Like whatever needed to happen so that you could come into union is happening right now. Or is going to be happening. very shortly here. There's a final chapter. So they may be in a relationship with somebody else. They be, or you, one of you, may be married to somebody else, maybe in a relationship, or a job, something. And that's ending to make way for this energy that's really going to open up the possibility of you coming into union. For some people, this isn't like a physical thing, like a relationship. This could also be like the final lesson they had to learn. The final piece of healing they needed to accomplish before you two were a vibrational match. Or both of you, you may both be going through this period of like learning and those final lessons so that you are in a place to come together in union. And anybody who is going through, so aside from that, moving out of the twin flame type energy, just in general, anybody who's going through a breakup right now, anyone who's going through any kind of failure in your life, perceived failure, remember, because failure is not real. It's a perception. All right, you only fail when you stop trying. All right, that's the only time. And sometimes that's not even failure. That's just called surrender, right? But that's a whole different topic there. So whatever's going on, whatever it is that you feel like you're losing, whether this is a relationship, whether this is a business, whether this is a whatever, this is the final thing that needs to happen in order for you to level up vibrationally. In order for you to have what it is that you truly desire. So it is a blessing. It's a lesson and a blessing. It's the final lesson that you needed in order to master this particular lesson. And we have illuminated subconscious full moon on the bottom of the deck. So once again, that full moon time is going to be huge for a lot of us. Something becoming clear. This final lesson for many people becoming clear. The path forward becoming clear. Choices, decisions, coming to choice points. I feel like somebody's going to be needing to leave. Say you have a family who's very wealthy. And you've been allowing them to take care of you to a certain extent, right? You've been kind of suckling off the family teat, so to speak, for some time. No judgment here. This is just what's happening, right? And you're getting to a point where you realize that like the strings that are attached to that are preventing you from being able to be who you truly are. For some, they're preventing you from love. Like you can't be with the person you truly want to be with because your family doesn't approve. You can't have the job. You can't have the spirit, be open about your spirituality. You can't live your truth. Speak or live your truth as long as you are accepting their money and their assistance. So you're breaking free of that. You're leaving that behind. All right. And that's the final chapter. That's the level up right there. For other people, it's like you're leaving a marriage or a relationship that provides some type of security for you because of the same thing. It's actually stifling you. A job, whatever it is. This is all necessary and it's all going to bring you where you want to go. So then we have the new moon, manifest your desires, coming out. Full moon and the new moon. So this is a big moon cycle, you guys. And that new moon coming up is on the 17th, right? Yeah. Something ends and then something's able to begin. Your true heart's desires are able to manifest. Anything else here? Gemini season. 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups inverted here. Let's get a little more information on this 9 of Cups inverted. The moon, mental clarity. The devil, unhealthy patterns. Okay. And so this came up Sometimes I don't have time to get on and do a full-length video. So definitely I would recommend you guys follow me. I have my other social media linked in the bio. Follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, because I do shorter readings on there. And this is reminding me of a reading that came out that I posted on TikTok and Instagram yesterday. And this is where during this this Gemini season, especially as we move through this moon cycle of this season, right? You're going to be getting a lot of clarity around where it is that you are holding yourself back. The unhealthy patterns, the unhealthy, like we said, belief systems, the toxic patterns that you're engaged in. All right, these are going to be falling away. You're going to be recognizing these for what they are, getting the clarity around them, and moving out of these energies, having the opportunity to move out of these energies. All right. And some of these things that are going to be coming to the surface that are going to be understood have to do with codependencies, overindulgence, materialism, and addictions. You're going to really be seeing and getting a deeper understanding of the fears and anxieties underneath those things. And you're going to have an opportunity to really release these unhealthy patterns. Some people are going to be getting a deeper understanding, a deeper look into the toxic cycles, as far as recognizing the people in your life that are on negative karmic connections, right? The people that you're ready to unattach yourself from. It's basically the people, the situations, the places, everything that's holding you in density is going to become very clear. And it's going to be so uncomfortable to hold on to that. The trauma, the abuse, the energies underneath, the belief systems, the fears, all the energies underneath that create these cycles and patterns. Those are going to be becoming more clear too, so that you're able to really fully break free and break out of this. And if you guys want any assistance with this, please reach out to me. All right. Energetic implants is on this card too. And that came out at 5656. That was the time when we mentioned energetic implants. And so this is something that a lot of us have. Most of us have and don't even realize it until we really get ourselves cleared. Energetic, sometimes even physical implants. This is one of the ways that these darker energies that we're going to be... sometime next week, we're going to do a live stream getting deeper into these energies. But essentially... these energies that we are liberating ourselves from as we move through this ascension process, they place a lot of these negative implants, energetic implants, to keep us trapped in these traumatic cycles, to keep us recycling these behavior, these experiences over and over again. And so some people may become aware of that too. You may become aware of negative technology within your being that needs to be transmuted. And you can work on doing some of this yourself. Some of this also sometimes does require assistance, so please reach out to me if that is resonating for you. That's something we can work on with the raw Reiki, which I am going to be offering within the next month or so. As well as the aura hypnosis, quantum healing. And that's something that will be offered later this summer. But yeah, these implants that transmit these false feelings and emotions that keep us stuck in these lower vibrations, these hooks, these dark portals, all of this stuff that exists within our energy bodies oftentimes, until we've become aware of that and cleared that out. So some people, you're going to become aware of that stuff too. It's like you're coming into a deeper awareness of what's yours and what's not, right? where you're naturally organically experiencing some of these things, some of these difficulties, moving out of these unhealthy patterns. And where it is that perhaps there is interfering energy that is influencing that and making that even more difficult. All right, last card I want to talk about before we close here is the Two of Swords, red flags. All right. Pay attention. So the Spirit's just wanting as a caveat here at the end, final warning at the end, pay attention. If you're noticing red flags this month with somebody in some situation, don't write those off. All right. Don't write those off. You are receiving, it's like your higher self is trying to communicate something to you to help you avoid unnecessary strife. All right. So just be aware, practice awareness. Consider your options fully and really weigh things on a heart level before making any snap decisions. All right. Yeah. Follow your heart. And know that anywhere where you are feeling blocked this month, this season, it's like there may be areas where you're not meant to move forward just yet, or something is not meant for you. So if something is not happening, don't get frustrated. Don't get angry. It's like that. What is that phrase? What is that quote that they say? God's rejection is God's protection. That kind of energy. If something is not working out, there's a reason for it, most likely. So just accept that. Another thing that I'm feeling is like, say that you've been trying to get an appointment with somebody for something. Like, for instance, a healer or something like that, right? And they're just not able to get you into their schedule or something. Maybe you're not meant to work with that person right now. If there's a job and they're just not, that you've applied for and they're just not calling you back, maybe you're just not meant to have that job, at least right now. Just trust that when it is meant, it will happen. And don't push anything right now. For some people, it's like the thing isn't meant at all. For others, it's like it is, but it's not right now. So let divine timing play its course. All right, and just stay in your heart. All right, you guys, I love you. Clear. I appreciate you. I do need to wrap up this live stream for right now, but I will talk to you all very soon. Of course, if you haven't liked this video yet, go ahead and do that as you hop off. I love, honor, and respect every single one of you. I am so grateful for you. You are so beautiful. I hope you have an incredible Gemini season. Hello, Isela. Yes. Hello, MJ. So great to see you on here as well. Yes. Yeah. And it's great when you don't do any other social media. It really is. Like, social media in so many ways is so toxic. It is a great vehicle as far as being able to connect and communicate when we use it in a high vibrational way, but there's a lot of toxic elements to it too, and we want to be shielding very well when we're working with social media as well. So if YouTube's the only thing you have, that's not a bad thing. All right, you guys. So much love, so much blessings to each and every one of you. Mwah. I'll talk to you soon.